Hi friends. So today I wanted to talk about a very negative emotion. I usually don't like to say hate on a lot of things, but I really dislike this emotion, and it's the jealousy emotion. I don't like that. I think that's just it can be so ugly. If we don't take control of ourselves, if we feel jealous or jealous of someone or what they have or how they are or how they carry themselves or how they act or how they look, whatever it might be that we're jealous of, their partner, their blessings, we have to take control of that because it can actually it can be dangerous. You hear a lot of stories about, their friends being jealous of them, and then they attack them and they're not with us anymore. You hear a lot of stories like that. I heard one story of this lady where uh, her friend was jealous of her, and someone threw acid in her face, and later on they found out it was her friend. It's just I don't want to focus on that, but the point is it's really important for us to focus um, on overcoming that if we are a type of person that does get jealous easily. It can be very scary. And I think a lot of times can be jealous for silly things too. It could be the way you carry yourself, your hair. It could be maybe they're jealous that you have a great family. Maybe they're jealous that you have a great partner that treats you right. Maybe they're jealous that you're blessed. It's just sometimes it's silly things. And instead of asking them like for advice and how to, and instead of it being like, for me, I would be more admired, like, oh wow, how do they do that? I would like to be close with them. I would like that for myself. It's like inspiration. It should be more like inspiration, and you admire them, not to where you get jealous and you want to take that away from them, and you want to, it gets worse. I mean, even jealousy goes back to even the olden days, like when Adam and Eve had, their son Abe and Cain. Cain killed Abel because he was jealous of him. It even talks about it then. It's even in family members, wherever. So we're going to talk about a little bit more jealousy today, and then how we can overcome those too as Christians, because it is a natural emotion, but you don't want it to get worse, or you want to get a hold of it, basically. So with Cain and Abel, Adam told the boys, "I want you to sacrifice something to God, and to show your gratitude and that you love Him, and sacrifice something that's important to you." And Cain said, "Okay, I'm going to sacrifice this brand new lamb." And that's what Abel said. That's what Abel said. And Cain said, "Why would you do that? Give like an old sheep that you know is going to pass away. Why would you give something valuable?" And Abel was like, "Well, I want to give something that's valuable because that's what I'm sacrificing, something that's important to me. That's what a sacrifice is, right? Because when you sacrifice, you're going to get more. So it's not even a loss." Um, and Cain was like, "Well, I'm just gonna give old fruits, dried fruits I was gonna throw away anyways." That was Cain's sacrifice. And you don't think God knows that? Like, you don't think He sees everything? so you know, so uh, so so they threw their sacrifice in the fire. It's like a pit of fire. And the scripture doesn't really say if God was happy with that or not, but you can tell He was happy by it because the flame got bigger. That's how they knew. So when Abel put the lamb in the flame, in the fire, the flame got higher and higher and higher. And when Cain did it, the dried fruits, that wasn't anything meaningful to him. It didn't do anything. So that right there showed them that God was more happy with Abel sacrificing something that's most important to him. So it even goes back in the olden days. And then he ended up, you know, hurting his brother. Cain ended up hurting Abel because of jealousy. You see how much jealousy can just turn very ugly? It's an ugly trait to have. It really is. So if we look at Genesis 4, verses 8, and Cain talked to Abel with his brother, and it came to pass, and when they were in the field, so he took them out in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. So he violently attacked him. Wow, his own brother. You see, because out of jealousy. You see what jealousy can do? Just because God didn't approve what, instead of saying, you know what, I really didn't give something that was important to me. I really didn't sacrifice anything important. I sacrificed dry fruits that I knew I was going to throw away. Instead of holding himself accountable, he took his jealousy and anger towards his brother. Sometimes it's stuff that we have to work on ourselves. Don't be jealous of someone else. If there's something that you admire about that person, work on yourself. And we'll talk about that more too, on how we can overcome that. So that is a perfect example of jealousy and how it can be deadly. It's even in the Bible. Cain hurt and his brother Abel, because out of jealousy, because he had a better offering. God was more satisfied, he was more happy with Abel's sacrifice. And then you also hear about Joseph and his brothers. His brothers were jealous of Joseph. Joseph was the youngest brother, and his brother sold him they sold his little brother because they were jealous that he had a dream. He had these big dreams. And what's sad about that is that if they were so focused, if they were to just focus on themselves, they would have realized that they had their own dreams. But they're so focused on the hate that they have towards him, they didn't even realize that they had their own dreams and their own destiny, because they were just so focused on the negative and him. Like, don't let someone be your focus because you have so much hate towards them. That's really sad. That's really sad that so you hate someone so much that they become your focus, that you become distracted from what your destiny is and what your goal is, and it's very sad. So let's also talk about some of the ways that we can overcome, if we are someone that tends to get jealous. Let's talk about some of the things that we can do to overcome those jealousies. So I think one of the first things that we can do to overcome those jealousies is you need to have a serious conversation with yourself. Like, no one's going to know this conversation but you. It's just you and yourself. You need to have a serious conversation and work on what are your insecurities. We all have insecurities as part of being humans, but we have to be able to work on those. I've had some insecurities when I was younger, but I worked through them, throughout the years. So you have to work on your insecurities. And the second one, I would say, if you just run into someone or whatever it might be, the person that you're jealous of, this is how we overcome our insecurities, our jealousy. So say you run into someone and for some reason they trigger jealousy. You have to have that serious conversation with yourself. Why does this person make me jealous? Is it because of the way they carry themselves? Is it because of what they have? Is it because they seem like they're put together? Like, is it because what they're driving? Is it their home? What is it? What is it? Have a serious conversation with yourself. Say it has to do with someone's home. You have that big home and you're just jealous of the home, whatever it might be. You don't know their background. You don't know how hard they work there. You don't know how long it took them to get there. You don't know their struggles. You just see results. The same thing if you see someone that has a great body. You don't know how long it took them to get to that point. You don't know if they're working out. You don't know if they cheat. You don't know anything. So for me at least, if I see someone that I admire, I used to try to get to know them. I'm inspired. Oh, I want to be like them. I want them to be my friends. Because when you have great friends, I think it makes you look good too. So there's no need to be jealous. And another thing I think we need to realize is that there's millions of people on this earth, right? So that means there's going to be other great people, Like, for example, for me, if I think I'm great, there's going to be other people that are as great as me. Or maybe I'm not great. I believe I'm great, but there's going to be great people that are as great as me and even better. And that's good. That's inspiration. I want to learn from them, I want to learn from them. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Whatever you're jealous of, you need to just have a serious conversation with yourself and work on those qualities. And maybe you can have that for yourself instead of being jealous, you know, because you don't know their stories. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You don't know how long it took for them to get there. All you're seeing is results. That's all you're seeing is results, you know. Like for me, for example, people look at me, they're like, oh, wow, she's so slim and fit. And, you know, they're always like, Vanessa, you can eat whatever you want. You're so lucky. No, I'm not lucky, okay? I'm in my 40s. I don't eat meat. They don't see that I don't eat meat. They don't see that I don't eat dairy. I'm a vegan. They don't see that I go to the gym 5-6 times a week, twice a day. See? They just see the results. You see, that's a perfect example. They just see the results, you know, and they just think I just born like, no, I lost 40 pounds. It took me 11 months to lose 40 pounds over 5 years ago. The whole point is they don't see that struggle. And before I lost 40 pounds, I've had multiple failed attempts. I've tried to work out, it didn't work out. I wasn't motivated. I was supposed to go with the group friends, that didn't work out. The whole point is all they see is the final results. Me now, 6 years later. 5-6 years later, this is what they see now. They didn't see me 4 or 5, 6 years ago when I was 40 pounds heavier. I didn't work out. When I was barely lifting 10 pounds, now I do 185 pounds because within time, you know, anything with someone else that you're jealous of, you don't know how long it took them to get there. You should see it more as like, I admire them. I want to be like that. They motivate me. Nah, I'm jealous of them. I want to take them away from them. I don't want them to have that anymore. Why? No. Don't do that. You have to look in within yourself. You have to look in within yourself. So you got to do that. And another thing also I would do is read the scripture. The scripture helps with jealousy because the scripture shows you that it even started with Abel and with Cain and Abel, and it was even in the Bible. You know, that's just it's always going to be around. That's part of being human. It's going to be part of it, right? But our job is to be disciplined and to be able to train ourselves so we don't act out on those and we suppress those emotions. One good way to do that is through meditation, because meditation calms your mind. It calms you down. So it's really good for that. So yeah, we definitely have to work on that. And then if there's any maybe childhood trauma too, like say someone's getting attention and that makes you jealous because you never got attention as a kid. Okay, you have to work on that. We're adults now, right? Because you want to move forward and you want to do better. So you have to work on those things. Everybody has to work on those things. And there's just really no point of being jealous of anybody, to be honest, because it's just you don't know how hard they work to get